guys, welcome to my studio. I'm Melissa, and this is today's puppet. What I like so much about this project is I'm basing it on a prototype that I originally made on some puppets, these giant sharks that I made for James and the Giant Peach. And so I needed to make a large scale version of these sharks, and so I had to make this prototype, and I really loved the way it turned out. And so it was really fun to create some other fish that are based on that prototype. Here's what you need: some cardboard, a piece of canvas to size, a pencil, a ruler, a pair of scissors, or an X-Acto knife, a hot glue gun, one skewer, some different colors of paint, or crayons, anything that you have for color, and some paintbrushes. And most importantly, you're gonna need a pattern. Okay, so first thing you're gonna do is actually cut out your pattern. So next you're gonna wanna trace out this fish on a piece of cardboard. Okay, and before I pick this fish up, I'm actually gonna mark these little tabs right here to remind me where my vertical lines are. And then I'm also going to mark right now where I want to put the fins later. Okay, so now that I have my tabs marked, I'm going to go ahead and fill in those lines now. Okay, so next, what you're going to do is you're actually going to make another cardboard section, and you're going to do it on the opposite side of the fish. And then also, just on the same piece of cardboard, go ahead and trace out 4 of these fins. Now let's trace the pattern onto the canvas. You could also use like maybe an old pair of jeans or an old pillowcase to cut some fabric out of. I just wouldn't use anything that's too stretchy like a t-shirt. So now we're going to start cutting stuff out. So to cut out the cardboard, I prefer to use an X-Acto blade. So now I'm going to number each section. Okay, so now we're going to cut the fish into sections and start gluing it onto the fabric. And also, you don't have to worry about butting them up super tight up against each other because you kind of want a little bit of space in there. So that's one side done, and I'm just going to loosen them up and make sure they're moving freely. Looky there. One more thing before we start painting is the stick. So I'm going to go ahead and actually add some glue into one of those sections and just squeeze it down in there. And then I'm going to stick that until it's almost all the way to the top. And then I'm going to actually put some glue off the top too. And now you're ready to paint. And the first thing I'm going to do is lay down a layer of white. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm just going to start putting down a base of white paint. Just kind of go real lightly when you get up to those edges. A lot of times when I'm painting like little creatures or puppets or covering the surface, I don't mind. It depends on what I'm doing, but I don't mind so much the brush strokes showing, because to me it just adds more texture and interest to the surface. Like that spot right there, I just think that looks cool. But I'm still gonna paint over it, for now. And I'm just gonna go ahead and just start kind of filling in the edges. Once it starts to dry, if you start to notice some of the numbers are bleeding through, just do a quick second coat. Don't forget to paint your fins. So once the base paint on the fish is completely dry, you can go ahead and just start to draw out the pattern that you want to do on your fish. So for the fun part, which to me is putting down all the color, because I love color. So the colors I picked up for my fish are white, and I actually have this metallic white, some oranges, kind of a yellow, a lighter orange, and a darker orange to kind of get different shades and tones. I'm using a pink for an undertone, and I'm going to bring in some blue to mimic the reflection of water. And I also like that it's a complementary color to orange, so it helps the colors pop. A lot of times when I'm laying down my first layers of paint, I like to come back in with a paper towel and blot some of it off. It's a good way to add some visual texture. I like the coats to have transparency. I don't go in too thick, and that way they layer more like watercolor. So now I'm going to go in and start introducing another color. I'm going to start introducing a layer of orange, and I'll continue kind of like water it down a little bit too so it'll bleed over the other color. I'm going to go ahead and start filling in some of the final details like the eyes and the mouth, and I'm going to use black to do that, and just a fine little brush. And kind of back it up with some red. So now that both sides are painted, we're ready to put the fins on. And you also notice I went ahead and painted the stick blue. So in order to attach the fins, you're going to want to kind of open them up to where there's these two tabs on both sides. That's the perfect place to put your glue. And then that way they'll just hold much better when you put them in place. And just follow the angle of the mark that you made. And there you go, guys. Your koi fish is done. Thank you guys for following along. If you like this puppet making tutorial, make sure you subscribe for more just like it. If you want to know right when a new tutorial comes out, click the bell as well.